Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about some of our S19 Pro hash boards, going over some of the issues we have with these hash boards, as they age, as they mine for a year, 2 years, and so on, what issues to expect. So if you think that's interesting, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, and go to cryptollc.org if you're looking to set up a ASIC or GPU mining farm. Right now is the best time to jump in. Asics are really at the rock bottom prices. You can get them really cheap, especially the S19 Pro. You run them at low power mode, which will give you a great efficiency of 25 watts per terahash. So very good efficiency, very close to the XP level. So you can get those and run those rather than just running them at stock regular performance mode. You run them at low performance mode. A very good option for anyone that's out there looking to increase efficiency. So we offer those services. We sell miners, we set up mining farms, and we manage mining farms. So go to cryptollc.org for any of those things that might interest you. And before we get started, Bitcoin saves your wealth, Jesus Christ saves your soul. All right, so today's video, we're going to be going over the S19 Pro. These are the Pros. You can see they're not the J's. The J's have that lining, especially on the backside over here. They're built a little bit different. They do not have these chips on the back. You see these chips here? The temperature chips sticking out like this, as well as, I think they're called the MC chips. Then there's also like the power regulators, things like that. You can see a lot of chips in between these heat sinks. So on an S19J Pro, you just have one giant heat sink, and on the front, you have also two giant heat sinks, similar to this one, but it's a little bit different. And it looks like it's a better quality build than these S19 Pros. But these are not bad boards. These are good boards. They do a good job. But the issues we have with these boards is as time goes, as they're mining for 1 year, 2 years, some of the issues we notice is for no reason at all, for no apparent reason, the hash board will just start showing 0 ASIC found, right? Instead of 114 ASICs, it'll find 0. So it lost the signal somewhere around the path where it goes from chip number 1, goes to chip number 14, and it can't find them. Actually, this should be over here and go down to chip 14. It can't find any of the ASICs because it lost the signal. It lost one of the signals going along the path. I think there's 5 signals for each chip, and it loses one of them, so it can't find ASICs. And the interesting thing is, if you clean off some of the chips, so you use some rubbing alcohol to clean off the chips, here, especially up here on the PIC processor here, you clean it off rubbing alcohol, then you flip it over here to this side, you clean off this section of chips, this section over here, down here. Sometimes that fixes the issue, especially if you have a temp sensor error, where the temp sensor is reported inaccurate numbers. It'll show that the hash board is overheating. You have 3 hash boards in your miner, and then one of the hash boards is reporting like 150 Celsius or something like that. That's a bad temp sensor. So a lot of times if you clean it off like that, the signal returns and it actually starts reporting proper temp sensors. That's one thing you can do. The other thing is the 0 ASIC. You can do that as well. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But a lot of times it does not work. And so you try all your various troubleshooting, because this is a thing you have to take off the heat sinks and try to fix it. But if you're trying to avoid doing that, you want to try out all other options. You try updating your firmware, you try unplugging, replugging the miner, you try draining the electricity from the PSU, you try doing all those things, nothing works, you cleaned it off, still bad. Then you send them for repairs. So that's what we do. We do that whole entire process before we send it out for repairs. And the reason why we do that is because for Bitmain, if you send it out for repairs, it's going to take a week to get there. It's going to take another week for them to even add it to their system. And then it's going to take them about 2 weeks to fix it, and then another week to send it back. So you're going to waste like a month or a month and a half by the time you actually get your hash boards back. These 4 hash boards, all of them were repaired by Bitmain. All of them were repaired. So these are the same exact hash boards we sent to Bitmain. So they repaired them, and then they sent them back. And they all have these little stickers here. They have those little stickers there. And those stickers signify that Bitmain fixed the board. Sometimes they add like a little marking. I don't know if this was them or not. Sometimes they add like a little marking like this. It might be them, might be not. You can see it's not all of them have this barcode. Like this one doesn't have a barcode. This one does, that one does, so on. But they're all sent back. They're all supposed to be working. I have not tried them out. So today I'm gonna plug them in and see if they're actually going to mine. On top of that, so part of our repair package was 4 hash boards. You can see them 4 here. We also sent out this control board for repair. So this control board had an interesting issue. It would not save your settings. So again, this control board was working just fine for like 2 years. And then for no reason at all, it just won't save data. And what I mean by it won't save data is you save the settings like the ant pool connection or whatever pool you're using, the URL for it, and then your miner name and your pool name, and you know if you use a password or not. It doesn't save any of that. You save it, it stays there for like a couple hours, and then for no reason at all, it just loses connection to the control board. You restart it, and then all the information is gone. That was what was happening with this control board. You can see there's literally no issues with it. There's nothing to signify that it has, you know, problems. It's not like it has a burnt chip somewhere. We couldn't find anything. So it's just something that happens with S19 Pro control boards. Loses connection. So this one was sent out for repairs. It's repaired now. It should be saving data. You know, if I unplug the miner, plug it back in, the data should be still saved on the NAND chip. I think that's what they use, a NAND chip on here. Might be wrong, but the data should be now stored forever on that NAND chip. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys around these control board and the hash boards. Give you like an overview. Now, if you're having issues with your hash board S19 Pro or even the J Pro, try out those methods. First, try updating the firmware if it has an old firmware. Try restarting it a couple times just through the website, through the browser. That doesn't work. Try unplugging your miner and try draining the power. So drain the power by just touching some negatives and holding the negative there for, that's what we do for like maybe 10 seconds. To drain some of the power out of the PSU and plug it back in. And then after that, if that still did not fix the issue, take out the hash board, clean off all the chips you see on it. See on the S19 Pro, you see a lot of the chips on this side, and on the reverse, on the S19J, you will not see as many chips. You just clean off what you see, dust it, blow it out, right? Use like an air compressor to blow off all the dust. Sometimes like a little piece of dust, little piece of maybe metal from you know, off, let's say it was like a little shred of metal, and it might be contacting one of the chip legs here, kind of shorting the 2 chip legs. That might be causing the issue, so you gotta blow it out and do all that stuff. And then at the very, very end, if you still can't fix it, then you can either try fixing it yourself, meaning you gotta take apart these heat sinks and take a look at the chips, follow the chip diagram, you need a manual for that, and trace the chips and see where the signal stops. And you might find it, because on these ones, the chips should not be failing at all. So it's most likely a resistor or a capacitor or something like that went bad, so you might need to replace a resistor. So that's what you got to do to fix these hash boards. All right, well, I hope you guys liked the video. It's going to be it for this one. And until next time, bye.